It says live on YouTube. Okay, so the only thing I don't like about this is you have to have two screens open, right? So that's why I'm always looking back and forth. So I see that it says live and I can see me on YouTube.
Yeah, can you see me too?
Now, all right. And I got to mute myself on my PC. Yep, I could definitely see you. All right. Now, I don't know why is it not showing both of us at the same time. And
I'm
that,
wondering for
sorry, I wasn't
myself.
prepared for that part. Gallery view. All right. Let me just share my screen. Anyway, that's probably a setting I got to change, but we're good right now because we don't have anybody online yet. But yeah, obviously, whenever there we are, we're both together. Well, we was together for a brief
Okay,
period of time, so I guess whenever you talk, it'll pop up.
come again.
Yeah, I guess whenever you talk, you'll pop up on the screen. Maybe I have to. It's a setting I have to do. So sorry, I'm not prepared. This is my first time actually having like a guest or a co-host on my Zoom at the same time.
No,
So I don't know if you can see yourself on YouTube, but I
no,
definitely see you.
I'm actually on how do you call it? I'm I'm on Zoom now. So
Hmm.
yeah, but I can see the recording live and everything showing up. So that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, for those who are probably not familiar with either of us, my name is Terry Clark, aka the Minority Investor. Um, if you don't mind, I'll go first. I'll just kind of give a brief overview of my whole purpose. I've been investing going on a little over 5 years. So I don't know if I ever told you the story, but my first venture into investing, I was working at this company, and for some reason, I was really interested in investing, and I bought this stock. I will never forget the stock. It's CTSO. It's a biotech company, I think, and they was working on this new drug, and I'll never forget. I bought it. It was a penny stock, and I don't recommend penny stocks at all now, but I think it was like I bought it for like a quarter, and I think I spent like maybe $2,000 or $3,000 on it. And I had done a lot of research, and I knew they were gonna. Well, I thought I knew they were gonna get approved for FDA for the drug. And just one day when I was at work, they got approved, and it went from a quarter to like $2 instantly. And I think went from like 2 grand to like 7 or 8. And I was young and dumb, and I was so excited. I was so pumped. I took everybody out to lunch that day. Like everything was just on me. And from that day, I was kind of hooked into investing. I was like, man, I made this money this quickly. Now I blew most of it because I was young or whatever, but at that point I knew investment was a good thing, and I kind of walked away from it and came back in the last 2 or 3 years, and it's just a great vehicle for just gaining wealth, to be honest with you. And I just say, you know what, I'm not a selfish person. I want to see everybody eat. I hate when people can't provide for their families, especially for their kids. And so I just kind of made it a mission, as I learned, I just wanted to help others. So I started the private Facebook group. I started my Instagram group, and as people helped me, such as Wall Street Trapper, such as Waltz in the Streets, I just felt it was my personal mission to kind of help other people, and that kind of led me here today.
Okay. That's that's a cool story. You personally have really been on a long journey. And okay, a little bit about myself. My name is Kaiser. I'm originally from Ghana. Um, so all my Ghanaian people up here, hey, be ready to ready to learn something. Be ready to follow up whatever that we'll be doing. And I'm sure anybody also anywhere from Africa that you're following, um, it's a good place to add knowledge to whatever that you're already doing in this particular field. So as I said, I'm originally from Ghana, and how did I jump into investing? It's very interesting. So here in the States, I've not been investing for a long time. It's just recently. I'm not ashamed of that. I'm not ashamed of saying that because I know there are a lot of people that have really been in the game for a while. And how did I jump into this whole thing? I remember at home one time I was speaking to my wife, and she was like, Do you know of this app? You can save a little money there, which can help you. I'm like, what app is that? So he put up Robinhood to me. So my wife was one of the first people to officially talk to me about an investing app. So I looked at it carefully. I'm like, what does this app do? So he was like, okay, you can buy shares in this company, you can buy shares in that company. I'm like, okay, that's really cool. Then I had a friend also who visited me one time at home, and he was like, "Do you know about Robinhood?" I'm like, "Why is everybody talking about Robinhood?" And he actually spoke about Robinhood and Acorn, right? I don't know whether you know of Acorn, where it
I've
takes
heard
a
of
chain,
Acorn. Yeah.
whatever, good.
Okay.
So it was like it's something good that you can be really saving with. So he actually opened his account to me, and I saw over $10,000 there. So I was like, what?
Yeah.
You have all this money, like in a company. It was like, yeah, he has a little bit of Tesla, he has a little bit of Apple and all that. I'm like, okay, that is nice. So that actually gave me the whole idea of what was going on. So I really became very interested. Then I went to work, and I met a group of folks like during like lunchtime in the break room. You see them, everybody on their phone. I realize either somebody's on E-Trade or he's on Robinhood or he's
Mm-hmm.
reading something about the stock market. So I became very interested. Then I had a friend there also called Emmanuel, who also took me deeper. I was like, hey, this company that you're working with is a great company, Apple. That's my like first official job. So I work with Apple. And he was like, you really need to sign up to these shares things that Apple does for the staff, because it's free money. I'm like, okay. They just kind of put aside a percentage of your paycheck, and it really helps you. It's free money for you. I'm like, good. So I also became interested. So it looks like right from home, what my wife, what my friend was saying, and at work, what I also see, everything was moving, in tangent. So I was like, okay, cool. So I started going Instagram to look out for a little bit of this. Then I jumped on your page. So I was like, this guy is really explaining things very easily for me to understand when it comes to companies. So I said, no, let me follow Minority Investor. Like, let me see what goes on. Then I realized, oh, you even link to Facebook, where you also explain things further. I'm like, oh, let me follow him up. And I was so grateful that when I contacted you, you really responded. I think I had a question on my mind by then, and I don't remember which particular question it was, but the answer that you gave me really explained things very well to me. I was like, these are the kind of friends I want to have in my circle. People,
Right. Yep.
people that I can be learning from. So personally, that has been a little bit of my investment journey. I'm also an author. I have two of my books here. I think I've spoken to you about it
I
before.
got that book.
You got it?
Yeah, that's the book that I bought. You probably forgot, but I got that book.
and, and this is the second one.
I don't
So
have that one. I
yeah,
haven't.
so
Yeah.
the PDF versions on Amazon and Apple Bookstore, they do very well. So yeah, so I'm an author. I also do a 9 to 5, that we all call it, and also an investor. So it has been a journey, and I'm learning a lot. I'm still in the process of learning. So yeah, that has actually been my story, and a little of what I do for now. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I never knew all that. Everybody has their own story that got them involved in investing. But I would just tell people, you know, a lot of people they think like kind of like the stories we just told. Why am I listening to these dudes ramble on about investing? Because you could go to, like you say, YouTube or any social media website, and people are just talking about investing. And if you're not really interested, you're gonna think it's boring, and you're not gonna want to listen to it. But trust me, you really need to pay attention and listen to it, because the information I'm sharing and other people sharing that you're sharing just could really change your life. It's not a gimmick scheme. It's not a pyramid scheme. The wealthiest people in the entire world have their money involved in stocks. And
Yeah,
everybody is usually, like you say, most of us have 8 to 5s. Some of us like our jobs, some of us love our jobs. Most people just go to a job because, yeah, it puts food on the table and a roof over your head. But if you had a choice, you probably wouldn't be working where you're working. So basically, you're trying to buy back your time, and that's what investing does.
that's
Buying back
that's
your
that's
time.
interesting. Yeah,
You
that's
know,
true.
yeah, because that. But like I say, it could be boring. It could be a long process. And when I say long process, 10 to 15 years. But the way the world is set up, nobody's going to teach you this information. You're not going to learn it in school. You're not going to learn it in college. You don't hear people talking about it. You might see it on TV, but they're using all these big words and terminology, and it goes over your head, and you think, I ain't got time for that. But if you take your
Mhm.
time and just say, look, I'm just going to learn a little bit at a time, eventually, it'll all start making sense to you. And before you know it, you're making money. Before you know it, you're probably even thinking about quitting your job. Before you know it, you just living a great lifestyle and you can live the life that you truly want to live. And I think everybody deserves that right. So,
Yeah, that's true. I for me, the little that I've come to learn, you know, you used a word earlier and you were like, it can kind of be a bit boring sometimes, and that is really true. Anybody here that is listening to us, who is engaged in investing for some time or for a very long time, they'll tell you that there are the boring moments of investing, like really boring, where maybe you buy shares of a company and it looks like everything is stable, everything is not going well. So by virtue of that, you're kind of maybe worried. Should I take my money out? Should I leave the money there? Should I use the money for something else? But um, I've come to realize that it's a long play. As you said, you use the word 10 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. And it's very true. If you look at all the, if you list the top 10 or top 100 millionaires in the world, they
mhm.
all have an amount of their money in stocks.
Yep.
They have it in stocks. Apart from companies that they run, they have their monies in stocks. I think the important thing is they understand how to go about it very well.
Hmm.
They understand the fundamentals of it also very well. That is why they keep on doing it, and it is working for them. And that is why we actually live today, so that anybody watching us could also know, understand that you need to understand the basics, you need to understand the fundamentals, and you need to keep on learning. For me, I've been learning every day. I learn something new. I'm like, I didn't know this. Let me take note of this. So yeah, it's a great thing to do. I call it making your money work for you,
There you
or
go.
yeah, when you
Hmm.
are asleep, because you put in 1,000, and after maybe maybe Target, you put in 1,000 in Target, and I actually bought Target shares. I don't know what I told you about that story.
That's a good investment. I like Target.
Yeah, I put in I put in money into Target, and it was around 113, 113,
Hmm.
and right on target it's around 165 or so. Like,
There you
so
go.
if it was even $100 or 113 that I put in, and it's now 165, that means I have over $3, or if I'm right, um, if I put in 130 and it's 160, that means I have over let's say $30 free money, right?
Hmm.
Like, it's free, you know. So, but understanding that it's a long play, it's very, very important. So whatever that we are here to present to you, or will be presenting to you within the course of the week, um, it's the fundamentals, understanding it, and if anything, let us know in the chat, the comment section of the chat, anything you want us to deal with. I'm here to ask the questions. I'm here to learn. So
Yep.
yeah, just follow up. Yeah.
We're going to start from the very beginning and teach you the very basics. Like I say, some of this might be boring, but me personally, what I used to do, when I'm at the gym working out, people think I'm listening to music. I'm sitting here listening to podcasts about investing. When I'm going home, I'm not watching the NBA game. I'm watching YouTube videos on how to invest, dividend stocks, all these ratios. And yeah, sometimes I would just binge watch it, like
Yeah,
you watch your shows. And I'd be damned if I haven't learned a lot since then.
that's
So,
wow. And for me too, I what I do is I always so on my Instagram channel, that is Worship and Wealth Relay, I I read, after reading the Bible or listening to audio Bible, the next thing I listen to is podcast on investing.
mhm.
When I'm in the train, maybe metro going to work, or maybe I'm in the bus or I'm in the car somewhere, I always want to make sure I have a topic that I'm listening to. And people like you have really been a blessing to me a lot. I listen to people like you. I listen to EYL University. Those guys are
Yeah,
also very good.
I like them,
Uh,
brother.
yeah, they come up, I think, on Mondays.
Hmm.
Yeah, they've got some real good guys that who explain things also. Wall Street Trapper, that guy is also, he really appeals to the streets. That guy really appeals to the streets a lot.
He's
So
funny.
yeah, but the guy is also very good. So my and I also the investing tutor. There's this Ghanaian guy.
I
Yeah,
follow him. Yeah, I like
yeah,
him. Yeah.
yeah, investing tutor. He's also very good. So these are a few people that I kind of follow, that I listen to them. I watch some of the things that they post, and they have some guiding keys there. All of you have some guiding keys there that you post out that really helps. So yeah, yeah,
Now, let me explain the major difference between them and kind of us. As you know, when I first kind of started, I had some I was working on some paid courses or whatever. So there's nothing wrong with them. I actually paid to be a part of the Wall Street Trappers course. I paid to be a part of Johnny's course in his groups or whatever. And at one point, I was going that direction. But yeah, everything I do now is free. Like I say, somebody blessed me, somebody hooked me up. So anything, any courses, and actually I got courses I could give to people or whatever, but yeah, if you just reach out to me, if I have free time, we could do a Zoom meeting. We could teach you on the YouTube, on the Facebook group, but it's all free. And so those guys, they teach you fundamentals and long-term investing and options trading, but they're really for I guess seasoned investors. Not that you can't be a beginner and learn something from them, because you can, because I learned. But at some point you're going to have to pay, and
yeah,
and their prices are reasonable. So I do recommend that you pay. But if you don't have the money and you can't afford it right now, then come to us and we'll hook you up and teach you everything you need to know. And once you get the money to pay, then yeah, you should pay.
yeah, yeah. So for me, I agree with what you just said. If you're in the position to pay for a course to learn, just as some of them put out there, why not? Even the school that you attended, you paid for it, and most
Hmm.
of these things that they teach, you don't get to know them in school. I have people and our friends that have gone to, they are done with the universities and all that, and sometimes some are lawyers, some are doctors. That when we chat, when I'm talking about stocks and charts and stuff like that, they're like, "How did you get to know all these things in a short time?" I'm like, "Hey, I don't know anything yet. I'm still learning. But if these basics are the
Hmm.
things I'm teaching and you don't even understand, then
Turn the TV down.
that means you have a very long way to go as a lawyer or as a doctor, when it comes to your finances." So, just as Terry said, if we're doing it for um, free, take advantage of it, learn
Yeah.
from it, understand it. And if you are in a position to buy any course that is out there that you feel that you need to buy it to upgrade or know more, um, just go ahead and just do it if you're in the position to. If not, we are here for you. Let's know what you want to understand, and we'll be ready to share with you. Yeah.
All right. So, with that being said, maybe we should let me share my screen so they won't think, all right, these guys are just talking. When are you going to teach me something? All right. It's always difficult when I share my screen. All right. Sorry, it's just It looks different when I share my screen. All right. So hopefully you can see that.
Yeah.
The fin and vis pop up. It's like a little delay. And if it ever is too small, let me know and I'll blow it up because that looks a little too
Okay.
small. Okay. So as I said, we're gonna teach
It's
you
clear
about
for me from here.
okay. We're gonna teach you about some. We're gonna start at the very, very beginning. Like if you don't know this, then yeah, you need to know this to be investing. So um, don't worry, we're going to explain what all this means later. But one of the first things that we kind of check when we check the market is we always check how it did the previous day. And so as you can see, I have FinViz up, and we have three market indexes: the Dow Jones, the Nasdaq, and the S&P 500. A brief explanation of that. We're going to cover this more next Sunday. Is just basically look at these as like it's kind of like benchmarks. That's pretty much say all they are to tell you how the economy or the market is doing it as a whole. So the Nasdaq have certain stocks in there. So does Nasdaq. I mean the Dow and Nasdaq and S&P 500. So just know they're just benchmarks. That's all they are. So you can see as of Friday, the Dow was down 0.39%. It was up 112 points. And the Nasdaq was down 0.36%,
Yep.
which is 42 points, and the S&P was slightly up at 0.01%. Um, so you kind of look at this every day to kind of know, give a good indication of how the market is doing. So if you got stocks that are in the Dow, and those are mostly like industrial stocks, then more than likely your stock went up that day. If you're invested in any of these tech stocks, which mostly consists of the Nasdaq, your Zooms of the world, and all these tech stocks, then it probably went down. And the same thing with the S&P 500. Just know the S&P 500 are the top 500 companies in the world. That's why a lot of people pay a lot of attention to the S&P 500. So it was up a little bit, but not much. But we always kind of look at that. And after we look at that, one thing that you're going to learn here shortly is that the market is divided into sectors. So when you go to finbiz.com, which is a great website we use because it has a lot of visualizations, you can click on this group thing right here.
Okay.
And so when you click on the groups, it's going to break it down by different sectors. And so you can look at it as the 1 day performance, 1 week, 1 month, or 3 months. But since we're going live every like once a week, we're going to look at the 1 week performance.
Okay.
And so we're only going to look at the top three and the bottom three. So this last week, we could see communication services, consumer cyclicals, and utilities were up. Those are the top three. And the bottom three are basic materials, real estate, and energy. And
Energy.
Kaiser,
Yep.
that's important, man. It's important to look at this because, as I always tell people, like let's say you're in the finance industry, you actually work in that industry. Since you're
Mhm.
so knowledgeable about that industry, kind of makes sense for you to kind of look at financial stocks since you really
Yeah.
understand that.
That's right. That's right. So that and it's so interesting when you look at the whole economy of the United States summarized into sectors right here, and whatever sector that or whatever section that you work in um, can be placed under. Let me see, 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. About 12 of this can be
Hmm.
placed under one of them by all means, if
I
I'm
know one
right.
of them. Yep, one of them.
Yeah. Whoever you are, wherever you work in, you
Hmm.
can be placed under one of that. So it's always important to know if let's say you are a nurse, okay, you're a nurse, there should be something there that by all means relates to you. You can see healthcare there. So what really goes on in that particular industry? Is that industry doing well? What are the areas in that industry that I can benefit from? So it's always good to look at some of this relative performance so that you can know how to spread your money evenly, if I'm right. Yes.
Not only that, it gives you a good indication, like you said, to invest in. Because if you follow the news, you'll see how all of this comes together. So everybody knows right now, because we're on lockdown because of this pandemic, people are
Mhm.
not driving to work. Great example is me. I was an engineer. Now I'm a program manager. I
Okay.
always had to go to the office. Well, because of this pandemic, thank you, God Almighty. My job has told me I could work permanently from home.
from home. Wow.
Oh God, man, I'm so happy. I am so happy. And
Saves
so
you a lot, right?
yeah, but think about how that has changed, and now that you're looking at this simple group performance, because you
Hmm.
see that the bottom is energy for the last week and for the last month. And that makes sense, right? Because people are not driving as much, so we're not using gas, right?
Hmm.
If you go to my company now, it's blank. You know, we used to have like 175 employees. It's like this big, huge warehouse. Now I go, it might be 10 people in there on any
Mm.
given day. So a lot of energy is not being used at all, especially with all these production being stopped and slowed down. So it makes sense why the energy is doing terrible. And the same thing with the real estate. You know, if people are using less real estate, then guess what? You know, nobody's leasing out new commercial buildings. You know, nobody's, trying to grow their real estate market because, yeah, everybody's at home. So it makes sense why the 1 week performance real estate and energy is down. And so that gives you a good indication. You kind of come look at this and you're like, yeah, that makes sense. You know,
Mhm.
nobody's flying on these airplanes, so they're not using a lot of gas.
Yeah.
That or fused, that's why the energy market is down. Yeah, if the mall is closed, then that makes sense why real estate is down. But when you start looking at the top ones, consumers cyclicals or whatnot, it's like, okay, shit, everybody buying a new iPhone. That's why consumer cyclicals is going up. Consumer
Yeah.
defensive, like, okay, we all at home, everybody going to Walmart buying everyday items that you need every day. Maybe that's why it's been doing good here the last day or the last week. Or if you look at the 1 month performance and it'll start to
That's
make sense.
hmm that is very true. So if you look at uh, the 1 month relative performance,
Hmm.
you realize that still energy is below. Energy is still real down.
Yep.
Uh, I was looking at some of this energy companies like ExxonMobil and stuff like that, and you realize that their stocks are shaking a bit.
Hmm.
Yeah. And when you look at basic materials, you can realize that those ones are also in the negatives.
Hmm.
So it's this actually gives you in a month what are the things that are really topping. So we hear of a company like, let's say your company says, hey, everybody should work from home. It's you are being saved a lot, like time, money, energy. I mean, you personally,
Hmm.
to work from home. So that really helps a lot, and it helps you a lot in a way. But when you look at the top 1 month relative performance, you realize that technology is still on top. Like for a month now, like technology is really um, booming. I hear of stories like Twitter saying all staff should also work from home. Such companies. But my question is, um, how long is such a thing going to take place? Is technology going to be there like that for like a very long time?
I don't think
What are your thoughts on
technology
that?
is going anywhere. I think it's going to keep going up. You know, of course, it's going to have its up and down peaks, but I think as a whole, long term, is going to keep going up because the world as a whole has changed. This is what they've been wanting to happen for a long time. It's just been accelerated. They won't think about this. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with the Internet of Things. For
Yeah.
those who don't know, that means everything is connected to the internet. Everything. Back in the day, I mean, you had a cell phone, you had your computer, and that's it, right? That was connected to the
Hmm.
internet. Now your TV is connected to the internet, your refrigerator is connected to the internet, your microwave
Yeah.
is connected to the internet, your cars are connected to the internet. Everything is connected to the internet. Well, well, that's technology. And where's all this data getting processed at? In data centers, right?
Hmm.
So the more people use the internet needs to be faster. That's why they just came out with 5G. And I think somebody told me they already got 6G or something like that. They just waiting to
Yeah. I've
release
heard
it.
of 6G too, like some discussions going on with 6G and all that. Like, yeah.
Right.
So,
So yeah, now it's to the point where your clothes are going to be connected to the internet. You could go to the doctor from home. I mean, this stuff is already out. I'm a tech guy. It's been out for years. It's not released to the public. So technology is not going anywhere. If
Mm.
anything, with artificial intelligence and quantum computing,
Mhm.
yeah, and especially with us going out of space and stuff, tech is not going nowhere. That's why you see tech is a leader in a 1 month performance. It's up there in the 3 months. Even if you look at the 6 months, it's still up
Yeah.
there. And the 1 year is number one. Because what? Zoom is doing better. Facebook is doing better. Amazon is doing better. Even my parents, who are very old school, are now comfortable with ordering stuff off of Amazon. It took a very long time, but they finally made it. So that's just the future, man. That's just the future. So tech is here to stay.
Yeah. So talking about tech once again and how it's performing so well and all the things that you've listed, you did mention of artificial intelligence.
Hmm.
Okay. So do you mind breaking down that a bit to somebody who is new to some of these things, what artificial intelligence is and how it's really influencing, um, it's being influenced through technology, or how it's influencing production of things and how it's going to be like in the future, um, and why people should also really look at it in terms of investing in that area?
Man, artificial intelligence is so deep, like it's gonna be in part of all of our lives. How can I put this? I mean, it's to the point now where we almost don't even have to think for ourselves, because when I was growing up, if you had a problem with your homework, you had to do research, man, we had books, that you had to go read, you had to go look at the dictionary, encyclopedia, what is it called, Britannica or something like that.
Yeah,
But
encyclopedia.
now
Yeah,
everything's online where you could literally just talk into your phone and say, hey, March 15, 2005, what history event happened. And your phone will tell you, that's artificial intelligence.
okay.
Artificial intelligence is some simple as a robot vacuum cleaner that
Okay.
continuously learns and get better and better. You put it in your house and it hits one of your chairs and it tells itself like, hey, that chair is there. And next time it remembers that, right?
Mm,
Um, Same thing with kind of like your smartwatches, right? Especially
yeah.
like Apple. Y'all got those ECG
Yeah.
Apple watches that
Yes.
do ECG reading.
Hmm.
It's gonna start, monitoring your health and start making decisions for you. Or, it's no coincidence, like all your phones track everything you do, every decision that you make.
Yeah.
It started telling you, like, yeah, normally in situations like this, you'll do this. And that's not even involving robots. Robots haven't even came to America yet, but in Japan, they're huge. And it's only
Yeah.
a matter of time before they come. And when you go to restaurants and there's nobody in there, maybe two or three people, and you got robot shelves and robots bringing your food, or artificial intelligence for its Tesla with the cars. Um,
Yeah.
Man, we started talking
I
about
think
Tesla. I'm sorry, I get deep. So go ahead,
yeah.
bro.
I read a story somewhere. Is it Saudi Arabia or so, where they've made a robot a citizen? They've given a
Yeah.
robot.
Yep.
You've seen that news?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like first robot to be given citizenship. I'm like, wow, this thing is really going to a whole different level. And I believe all these are also influenced by artificial intelligence. One simple explanation that I give to people is sometimes when you are trying to buy a chair or a sofa for your room, when you go to the websites that, let's say, from Wayfair or any of these places that you want to
Yeah.
purchase some of these things, you kind of, they give you an option where what you want to buy, you can position it in the room, an image of it in your room, to have an idea, knowledge of how it's going to be positioned very well. And all those ones are basic means that uh, they are, and maybe let's say intelligence is being gathered in terms of where you want to place that particular item,
Mm-hmm.
and you can place it there very comfortably before you even order it from the store. So tech, to me, technology is to a large extent going to really influence a lot of things. So I'm not surprised. You see 1 month relative performance is right there. And it looks like when you look at it, always the first, or if you track it back, the first 3 all the way to 1 year relative performance, you you see technology there. So it's something that we really need to look at with a close eye. If anybody is an investor, something that you really need to look at it with a close eye. But my question also is, can we click on any of them and it gives you a breakdown of what is in there? Is it possible?
It's gonna take it to all these. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
yeah, it's all
Yeah.
the.
So it gives you basic graphs about which ones under the technology that is doing well. Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah, so these are all tech stocks. So yeah, I mean, that's your company right there,
Yeah.
right? Apple. So
Yeah.
if you want to go through all 52 pages, but more than likely, this is taking all the tech stocks in the S&P 500. That's
Okay.
probably a part of that index. Maybe, hold on, let me make sure. No, because AC, I never clicked on this before, but it's probably showing you all the tech stocks.
Okay.
And here's
Okay.
the thing, like back in the day, it was a clear difference between, let's say, tech and healthcare. But
Okay.
now tech is involved in everything because of Internet of Things. So
Yeah.
tech is in real estate, it's in energy, it's in finance, it's
Yeah.
industrial,
Yeah.
it's definitely in healthcare, it's everywhere. So
Yeah. That's true.
yeah,
Tech.
they definitely want to pay attention to tech.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But all
That.
right,
Yeah.
so maybe we should cover some of this. Let me make sure I can see my screen. Introduction to the market. Is it showing it? Let me make sure, because sorry, I got too many screens open right
Okay.
now.
Introduction to the market. Yeah.
Let's make sure it is. Let me see when it pops up. Or maybe I need to do a new share.
I
Ah,
can
there it
see.
is.
I can see introduction to the market here.
Okay, so this is it was a PowerPoint, yeah, that I kind of put together to kind of teach people some of the basics when it comes to investing. So this is where we're going to teach from today. Let me see if I can make this bigger. Nope. All right, hopefully that's big enough. Now let's make it a little bit bigger. Nope. All right, I should have got rid of all this stuff in the beginning. Why is it not going in play mode? It's always, that's the thing. When you go live, things that never happen,
Yeah. A lot of
all of a
things
sudden happen.
begin to slow down for you sometimes.
Actually, I just want to get rid of, let's see. All right, never mind. I just have to do it like this. I was trying to get rid of that paint on, here we go. Duh. All right, cool. All right, so let's just do, yes, I'm going to do introduction to the stock market. These are some of the things that you definitely need to know when you start investing. So you can see the different topics that we're going to cover: the mindset of an investor, passing the mirror test, why should I invest in stocks, and is this a good time to invest in stocks? So the
Okay.
first one, let's go the mindset of an investor. Now this is very important because me and you were actually just talking about this before we went live.
Yeah.
Um, Before you even invest in stocks, that's why I have it. Before you invest in stocks, you got to make a decision, and it's important that you make the decision because, when things get rocky, you're going to lean back onto this decision that you made from day one. And the decision you got to ask yourself, how much do you trust corporate America? What are you expecting from investing? Are you short or long term? And how would you react to a sudden, unexpected, and severe drop in price? And those are all good questions because the first question, like, how much do you trust corporate America? Because what some people don't know about investing, especially when it comes to investing in the stock market, is once these companies go public, they're obligated to share their financial records with you. So
Okay.
yeah, there's a lot of transparency. So if you go into it with the mindset like, man, I'm gonna invest, but I really don't trust corporate America. Then these they greedy and they selfish and I don't know. Then when you hit some rocky times in investing, you're probably gonna make some rash decisions and lead to you losing money, and that you're gonna swear that investing doesn't work. So you need to make up your mind. How much do you trust corporate America? And then you
Okay.
got to ask yourself, what are your expectations? you'll see this. I hear it all the time. Yeah, I want to invest, man, but I only want to invest for about a couple of weeks, couple of months, and I'm trying to double or triple my money. So if your expectations is to come up real quick, double, triple your money and get rich, that's the wrong expectations because it can
Forget
happen.
it.
But in my experience, I don't know about yours, Kaiser, but whenever you try to rush it, it don't work. It don't work.
Yeah, yeah, that's very true. Like that is a very big question for anybody who wants to go into investing to answer. Like, forgive me for my thick African accent. I know sometimes.
Oh, I understand you perfectly, brother. Like I tell you, a lot of our customers in Ghana, so talk to
so
them all. Yeah.
so what are your expectations from investing? If just as you said, if it's something that, I just want to flip some money upside down to get something real quick, then
Mm-mm.
then it's better you try something else, like, some lottery that probably you are thinking of. Investing is not lottery, like, yeah. So it's a great, one of the biggest question that I personally had to, when I was taking this course from you, it really got me to think a lot, especially that question: what is your expectation from investing? You should know why you're going into it. For me, one of them is to buy back my time,
There you
lost
go.
time.
Mm-hmm.
That is one major one, like, because time is money.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, time is money. That is why, um, when you are, let's say you want to have a time with somebody. Let's say I want to have a nice time with my wife. I'll use the phrase, I want to spend quality time with my wife. So
Mm-hmm.
we use the word spend even for time. People think we only use the word spend for money, only for money. But there are things that, anything that you spend on is either taken from you or given back to you. So it's very, very important. That was one of the reasons why I considered investing, going into investing. So yeah, you should know the expectations that you want to go, the reason why you want to go into investing. Yeah.
And these last 2 points kind of go hand in hand with that. It's like, are you a short term or long term investor? And how would you react to sudden, unexpected, and severe drops in price? Because, if somebody tell me I'm short term, then I'm say, hey, there's going to be more risk for short term. If you're willing to accept that risk, I help you. But anybody who's long term, it's like, man, the risk is so low. If you choose the right stocks or indexes that you could actually just, it's so low that it's actually boring. It's just, hey man, keep buying the same stock over and over, and at a certain
Over and
point in
over
time, you're
again.
gonna be rich. It's pretty much that simple. It really is. But you got to make a decision: are you short or long? And once you
Yeah.
make those decisions, that's gonna tell you how you're gonna react. Because this COVID-19 is actually a blessing for some people because if you would have panicked sold,
Mhm.
when the market crashed, or well, not even crashed, but kind of dipped because of COVID, then you probably
Mhm.
made a terrible mistake because it bounced right back up, you know.
Okay.
So that's why they always ask you like, how are you going to react to certain, drops in prices. So basically, if you haven't gained anything from this, know that when you decide to invest, especially if you're going to be a long term, you all in. You just all in. You don't panic sell. You keep your emotions intact, and you follow the plan.
Yeah, and to that point also, like, it's one thing that investors really need to think about. Like, I remember, during the COVID period, that was when, like, I really started. And you can imagine somebody who is new to investing, and no, I think before COVID. So I had just a little in
Mm,
investment. Then all of a sudden, like, I'm at work and I see everything
yep.
going down, like everything going, dropping, 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 dropping. I'm like, should I
What the
take my
heck?
money quickly out? Should I quickly sell out? Because it looks like I'm losing my money. Like, what is going on? You
Hmm.
know? But thanks so much to God that I really understood some of the basics in times like that, what you should be doing. Because what I realized was, even though I had uh, 5 shares or 10 shares of AT&T, even though the amount of money was dropping, amount of money there was dropping, the number of shares was not dropping.
There you go. Yeah.
So that really brought my attention to something. So I'm like, okay, so in this period, let's say I have 5 shares and the amount has dropped, but the number has not dropped. If I should buy more within the period that it is dropping, and it goes up to 10 shares or 20 shares, if the whole stock market bounce back, do I make a loss or I make money? So obviously it means I'm making more money. So I was, trust me, it was a hard decision for me to take because I was new to all this, like, yeah. But what you said is very, very, very important. How you react to sudden, unexpected, and I like the way you put it there in this course. You said, how will you react to sudden? Because some of the things are sudden. You can drop your money in there, and you wake up the next day, you realize it is going down. Unexpected ones too, then, or severe drop in price. How do you react to all this? So it's a very important key to take note of. Yeah.
A great example. We wake up tomorrow and Trump says we're not going to have a stimulus package this year or next year. Oh, it's going to be a drop and we all going to feel it. We all going to feel it. We all going to lose money. It ain't just you. So that's
true.
And that's why we learning this stuff, because you made some great points. Because if you don't know the fundamentals, the basics, what we're teaching right now, when you come across those decisions, you don't know what the hell to do. Not only that, you don't know why the market went up. So when it go down, you sure don't know why it's going down.
Yeah.
But once you start to understand the fundamentals, you're like, it's just dropped because of COVID-19. And then your mindset automatically switches to an investor. Like, okay, like you said, I own 5 shares of this stock at $10 and it dropped. I still own 5, but now it's dropped to $5. So, if I buy 5 more shares, my average cost price went from $10 to $7.50. Oh yeah, let me go buy some more because everything is on sale.
Yeah.
Stocks is the only thing people run away when it's on sale. Like if a car was, I just bought a car, if it was at 35 and it dropped to 30, oh man, I just got a deal. If the prices of the house is going down, which some are right now, I got a deal. But when stocks go down, they're like, nope, I don't want no part of that.
Yeah, that is true. Like I've watched across various platforms. I've read messages like what the thoughts of people are, some of the questions that people also ask, and you're like, whoa, like it's one of the things that when it goes on sale, people run away from. But it all boils down to the questions that you asked earlier on. What are your expectations? Are you a short-term or a long-term investor? Like, what? So currently, we are treating the mindset of an investor, which is very, very important because trust me, anything that affects the mind affects the whole body. Any single thing that affects the mind affects the whole body. If the mind says you are going to fail, know that the next morning or the next minute you'll be walking in the path of failure. So it's the mindset. So if you don't have the right mindset when it comes to investing, you would really have a hard time when you see your money go down or a bad news, which I'm sure in one of the courses or one of the days we are going to explain about when it comes to how news affects the stock market. Yeah. So it's very, very important. Know that expectations are key. Come in with the right mindset, and you would understand everything that goes on.
And that's why I put these misconceptions and facts, and they're all true. Like nobody's born an investor, So, people consider Warren Buffett one of the greatest investors ever. And I'm pretty sure he has kids. And just because Warren Buffett is a great investor, don't mean his kids just from birth going to be great investors.
Yeah.
They don't have any more an advantage of being an investor as me and you. That's what I like about the stock market. It does not discriminate. There's no prejudice and discrimination in stock market. My money works the same as Warren Buffett money, the same as anybody else money. Another thing is math. People think it's all these crazy calculations. You got to remember, when institutions buy stocks, they're buying millions or $1 billion worth of stocks. So yeah,
Yeah.
They might use a lot of math and some ratios or whatever, but for the average investors who's spending 1,000, 5, 10, or 15, fourth grade education is all you know. If you know how to divide, add, and subtract
Mhm.
and multiply, you're good to go.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. It's some of the things are so basic to understand. Uh, and I think one of your posts, I remember one of the things that you said that really helped me, like way back when I started, was looking at things that you have at home,
Oh
and
yeah.
and taking your time and buying into them. So let's say I go to Walmart. I have a Walmart not far from me. I go to Walmart. Then why not I look for Walmart on the stock market and try and invest into them? But when it comes to the misconceptions, it is really true. Nobody came out of the mother's womb an investor already.
Nope.
Everybody that we see online that are teaching, selling courses and all that, it took them time to learn it. It's quite a process. They all went through that period to learn it. So um, you also have to do the same. You can't jump the process. That is the issue with people that I see recently that or
Mm-mm.
currently that sometimes they kind of ask me stocks question. The basic I don't know much, but sometimes when they ask the question, you realize that this person wants to jump the gun. He
Nope.
doesn't want to go through the process. So know that nobody was born with it. We all learning to become successful investors in the stock market. Yes. And
And
when
then
it comes to the myth, though, like uh, uh, kind of some of the things that people say about stock market. Sometimes you don't have to believe all those stories about it. Maybe it was not working for the person well, or the person didn't really understand the fundamentals about it very well. And just as we said, uh, institutional investors they go into huge uh, formulas and calculations and all
mm,
that. And as a new investor, I don't think it's something that you should worry yourself so much about. Now, the basics that you need to know to step in, get a right foot in there to understand those basics out of the mass that you already know would help. Yeah.
like, yep, that's funny you said that. I had a call yesterday with this guy. He's in Albania, and I don't know if his, I
Yeah,
think
you
they,
have calls from everywhere, man.
I don't know. Yeah, this guy found me from Albania. His name is Paul, and he's actually a pretty cool guy. And he called me because I think it's his cousin. I don't know. She's related to him some type of way. He was say, hey, said some great things about me, and he said, look, she wants you to help her, but she don't want to learn the basics. I'm like, what? Yeah, she don't want to take the course like I took. She just like, hey, she just kind of wants you to tell her what to buy.
uh,
And I'm like, I would do that, but that doesn't really help her. When the market goes up or down, she doesn't know why, you know?
mhm.
And as you know, like I was big on ExxonMobil at one point. They were paying great dividends,
Yeah,
but I got in a very low price. So if I tell you to buy Exxon and I got in at 25 and you jump in at 30, then all of a sudden I see it's going down and I sell at 28, I still made a profit.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? But in order for you to make a profit, you got to buy exactly when I buy and sell exactly when I buy. And
that's true.
I can't tell you exactly when I buy because yeah, we have to be joined at the hip.
Hmm.
And that delay might cause you to lose money. So that's why it's important to kind of learn this stuff yourself. And that's why these last two bullet points about time, discipline, and patience is the most important thing because me and you have the same path. When I was working with Johnny and learning, and Johnny's like, hey man, you could kind of start teaching people. I was like, nah, bro, I don't know that much. He's like, you know more than you think. And he just kind of put me out there and I was like, man, I do. And me and you had the exact same conversation. He's like, man, I don't know that much. It's like, cause you know
Yeah.
way more than you think, bro.
Yeah, it's really true. Like, the last 2 points, especially the last one, successful investing takes time, discipline, and patience. It is the first lesson. Trust me, if I should come out with a book, that is one of the things that I will really speak about. Like, and obviously I'm going to give you an acknowledgement in that book for real.
It's all good, brother. I appreciate it. It's all love.
You know, so successful investing takes time. It takes discipline and patience. Like, I don't know how to describe these keywords further. Like, it is just as it is. It takes time. So if somebody should enter into a particular investment at a particular time, just as we said about ExxonMobil, you entered at 25. Somebody says, hey, tell me what I should buy. And I'm like, buy the same thing. And it's at 30. If it drops a little bit, you that you bought it at 30, you are going to be like, you told me to buy this. And all of a sudden, it drops. And but he didn't know that you bought it at 25. And you've made some couple of dollars from there. I remember a friend, we're talking recently. I spread the whole good news to him, and he has more money, I would say. And he was like, thank you so much for teaching me this. Thank you so much for telling me this. I'm like, hey, I also thank the person who keeps on teaching me some of these things. My friends that who keep on sharing stuff like that with me. And he said he put in about 25,000.
Mm-hmm.
And within some few days, like, he bought real good companies. I think he entered when Tesla dropped, before it got to that 2000 mark. Like, he entered when it dropped, and I didn't really have a lot of money by then to buy all that. So I was just taking it one step at a time, like, and it went all the way up there, and he was so grateful. Like, but he stuck to the basic that I told him. I'm like, you need to be patient. You need to know that it takes time. It's very, very important. And those are the things that grant you success in the stock market. Yeah.
And I kind of bypassed it, but basically, Warren Buffett famous quote is, the stock market is a device from transferring money or wealth from the impatient to the patient.
That's true.
I always keep that in my mind, from the impatient to the patient. That's
The
all you got to do.
impatient. I always say that impatient, trust me, it would always make you a patient in the hospital of the stock market. That's my own quote. Trust me, like, impatient will make you a patient in the hospital of the stock market. Stock market casualties. Let me position it very well. Impatient will make you a patient in the hospital of stock market casualties. So you really have to understand that very well. Impatient, it can really disturb a lot. Yeah.
So this next one, we're talking about passing the mirror test. So it says, oh, what does that mean, passing the mirror test? It's like, okay, are you ready to invest? So you got your mindset right, you're ready to invest, but are you financially ready to invest? And so what does that mean? So one of the things they say is, you should own a house. And I switched this, from own a house or have a stable situation, because I don't have a house. I live in an apartment. And the main reason I live here is because it's across the street from my daughter's school. It's very convenient. In order for her to go to that school, I have to live here. But and things have changed. You don't have to own a house to be in a good, financial situation. Most people, put, correlate the two. But my situation, if I lost my job, I could pay my rent for at least the next 2 years. So basically, have a stable situation. But if you've been through the process of buying a house, that puts you in the right mindset to be an investor, because all of the things you do before you buy the house, you should do when you start to invest. So when you buy a house, right, you go check out the neighborhood schools, you go see what the neighborhood's like, find out how much taxes you're going to be paying in the neighborhood. You go look at the house, see if it's got any termites or foundation issues, faulty wiring. You really take your time. You don't just, hey, Kaiser, I just bought this house and next door to me is one. You're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna buy it tomorrow. You go do your due diligence.
Yeah.
Some reason when it comes to stocks, people just want you to tell them, hey man, what stock do I buy? You need to do the same due diligence. People spend more time deciding what cell phone they're going to buy as opposed to what stock they're going to invest in or doing research on that company. Do the same research that you do. And look, it might take me 30 minutes to research a company sometimes to see if I should invest. Sometimes it take an hour, but it don't take days. It really don't. It's really
Mhm.
quick. But if you have that mindset, you pass the mirror test, and yeah, you'd be ready to invest. And the last two, then you could comment on this. Sorry. Do I need the money? And that's important too, because if you're living paycheck to paycheck, and that same example you just gave with your friend putting in 25K, what if he put that 25K in? He was thinking like, man, I'm gonna make a quick 5 grand, then I could pay off this bill or pay off that debt. But instead of making 5 grand, he lost 5 grand, and now he
Mhm.
got 20,000 instead of the 30,000 he thought he was gonna have. Now he in a rough situation because he
Mhm.
really needed that money.
Yeah.
Don't invest anything that you're going to need tomorrow or next week or anything like that. If you're going to need all that money and all you could afford to invest is $20, then just put that $20 in there. Don't put $100 in there thinking I'm going to flip this and then this is what I'm going to do. Because as you can see right now, as the screen say, you could accurately predict a stock over 10 to 20 years. But one, two, or three, oh, good luck. You just never know what's going to happen. So,
Yeah.
uh,
That's very true. Like I remember having a conversation with that same friend, and he was telling me whatever money he put in that particular money in as part of our discussion, because he was looking at a long term play, a very long term, because he has kids, and he's like, I want to do this for my kids at least, because I know I have some money somewhere that the family can use, but with this particular one, I don't want to touch it. So I need one good company that I know that I'm putting this in. So I'm
mhm.
like, fine. Then hey, let's look into it. If you want to go into Apple, or you want to go into Tesla, or you want to just don't make sure wherever you are putting the money, it's not something that you're putting the money in today and immediately you want to take it out tomorrow. Because remember, it's America, man. You have to deal with taxes.
Yeah, those taxes gonna hit you.
so 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 be very careful what you're dealing with. Like, So I like the point that you said, if even if it is $20 that you feel you can put into it, that you are comfortable with it, put in the $20. If it is $50, put in the $50. If it is $100 that you can do. For me, I every now and then when we talk, I keep on, I kind of show you my my screen to see how I'm gradually going on and what I'm really doing. And my strategy has been very simple. It's dollar cost averaging. That is that is it. The day you sent me those files and I read it and I saw some of those things there, I'm like, he just taught me what I needed to do. Strategy is very, very important. I'm sure we'll come to that too, and you probably explain
Yep.
that also further. So most stocks are predictable over 10 to 20 years, but not 2 to 3 years. It's very true. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you would have invested in, I don't know, like ExxonMobil
Mhm.
last year, and you think, oh, 2020, it's just gonna really take off. Well, yeah, we've been in for a rude surprise,
Yeah, that's true.
a very rude surprise. But you know, and the last few bullet points, these are all true as well. We already talked about patience, common sense. Sometimes, man, you can just use common sense when it comes to stocks. I'm surprised a lot of people don't, but um, and self-reliance and willing to do independent research. If you self-reliant, me personally, I don't mind somebody telling me something. If somebody I value their opinion, then I believe them. But even
Hmm.
though I believe him, I'm still gonna go do my own independent research. Let me see if what he say is actually making sense. You know. So
Hmm.
like me and you, we have a good rapport. If you tell me, hey, I've done a lot of research, this company is gonna trust me, invest in this stock. Guys, I got you. Yeah, I'm gonna put it on my watch list and I'm gonna go look at this right now. But I'm gonna go do my own independent research as well. And a lot of people just don't do that. And so, like when you speak about Robinhood, Robinhood is good for new investors, but one thing they don't do is kind of teach you anything. So they might show you the top stocks and you look, oh man, look, Hearst is up 100% today.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you don't do that independent research, you won't know why. And then you'll wake up and like, okay, what's up 100% today? And now it's down 200%. What the hell happened?
Yeah.
Got to do your own
That's
research.
that's true. When it comes to So as time goes on, I realized that I personally I needed more information. I needed to know, okay, why I'm buying what I'm buying and what is happening to, because Robinhood is not going to show you all that.
Mm-mm.
Trust me. Even if they show you that where they've placed some of those sections of whatever that they are talking about, doesn't really give you the in-depth, like sitting behind or going to Yahoo Finance or going to Seeking Alpha or going to Market Watch to sit down to really see whatever it's going on there, so that it can affect what you want to buy or what not to buy. So I remember one of the days I was speaking to you and you said, uh, don't only look at Robinhood, look at Weibo, look at E-Trade. Then I realized, for me, even where I work, that's one of the places that our company stock plans goes to. Anybody that works with Apple would definitely tell you that it's really important, as just like most companies do. So I jumped on E-Trade to really see what's going on there. I called them actually. I called I called E-Trade to understand some of the things, and I I kind of do it side by side because I realized that something an app like Weibo and E-Trade, TD Ameritrade, they give you in-depth information. They break things down for you.
Mm-hmm.
So you were spot on that when you said that, and you could even see the movement of things there, like live movement of things, what is going on, in a day. So yeah, that's really true.
Yeah, Robinhood is cool for certain things. If you knew, like they let you do fractional buying, which E-Trade's not gonna let you do. So if a
Mhm.
stock is $100, you need $100 to buy that stock. But with Robinhood, if you got $20, they'll let you buy $20
Yeah,
worth of that $100 stock. You can't do that with E-Trade and those other companies. Not yet
yeah,
anyway. But that's the purpose of Robinhood. But when you become serious about investing, you can't use Robinhood or
that's
any of
true.
those other stocks. My brother used Robinhood too. My nephew used it, and I say, hey man, keep using it for what it's good for. But eventually you just know you're gonna have to move on from it. And so I'm glad
Yeah,
you moved on from it because it's probably
yeah.
helped you
So
as
so
well.
for me, I I I still have my Robinhood account intact. I have my other account also intact. So just as you said, it gives you the opportunity to buy fractional shares. So
Hmm.
let's say if Apple is trading at a particular amount, if it's 120, even if I have $20, I can buy $20 of Apple. So it gives you that flexibility, and I think that's one of the reasons why people really like using it. And as we always say, beginning investors, they really like it because they say it's like super simple, to know what is going on there. But you get to a point, you would like to jump from the meat to start chewing the bones. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I like
just
that.
yeah, you like to start chewing the bones. So with that, you want to go more deeper, you know. Yeah, and I think anybody that is joining us, as we come up once a week to go into things, really follow us, because I know we are going to go into all those steps, and it will also really help you. Yeah.
Well, cool, man. I was gonna go into this next section about, why should I invest in stocks and things like that. But
Yeah.
then I realized, like,
Let me know if anytime we almost about to stop, or you want us to end somewhere.
well,
We
I
have
realized we're like an hour, we're like 67 minutes in, like,
what? Seriously? Now then, let's pause here. We can pause here. Continue next week, or
yep.
continue coming up. I mean, this week, this weekend. Why should I invest in the stock market? Should we take that next week? I think we should take that next week, right?
Yeah, because we're gonna break down some good stuff.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about banks and how they use your own money to pretty
Good.
much make themselves wealthy, and how you could do
Yeah,
it
I like
yourself.
that. I
Because
like that.
yeah, we go down this path, man. We'll be on here
Yeah,
for another hour, and that's how I
that's
know
true.
you're growing as an investor. Because the same thing happened to me when I used to follow Johnny. Johnny could talk for hours about investing. I'm like, man, where does he get all this stuff from? And now when I bring up something, bro, you just go off, and I'm just like, oh, look at him. I remember when I was
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
And
next thing you
and
know, it's been an hour and 15 minutes. You're like,
Yeah,
really?
we said we are going to do 45 minutes, right?
Yep. That's why
That's
I kind of laughed when I said that. Like, how are you gonna see how quickly 45 minutes go by?
that's true, man. I didn't really check, but I think it's a good thing. We'll handle this next week. I'll read around that also. I'll go into the slide once again, and man, these slides are really teaching me a lot. They are really teaching me a lot. So anybody watching us or maybe coming across this channel, this information, I would say just just follow the channel and learn along. We are all learning, so just learn along. Yeah, and it's always a privilege to me. I remember when I called you one time, we were talking. I'm like, there are a lot of people in church, okay, that go to church to pray about money, and sometimes God can give you the strategy in making money.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that we're still praying about it, but He has already told you the strategy. Hey, go into stocks, go into bonds, buy
Mm-hmm.
gold, or do this or do that. The era that money rains from or manna rains from the heavens onto the floor, it's not happening anymore. Like,
Yeah.
trust me. Yeah, right now He is giving strategies. God is giving strategies to make money, and I believe this is one of them. People, I think for most of the time, people see the graphs and the charts, and that's what really pisses them off. Like, what is all this movement and things,
Bro.
But yeah, understanding the basics is very important. And as we go along with it, I know people are going to learn a lot. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's good to handle this. Yeah.
To piggyback off what you said, look at this as a family.
Mm-hmm.
I would never come on here and act like I know it all.
Yeah.
Somebody could join today and be a new investor and know something that I don't know. I'm pretty sure you know stuff about investing I don't know. It's all about sharing our information and helping each other grow and continues learning. So,
Mm-hmm.
if anything, we don't have any slides, I probably update it. Anything you want to add, we could update it. As I learn information, I update these. But as more people start following us, you'll see people will be joining live and they'll be asking questions. Feel free to ask questions. You can always find me on Instagram, Minority Investor, or
Mm-hmm.
you could go join the Facebook group, the Minority Investment Group. And we
Yeah.
teach as well. Whenever Kaiser you get confident, I can make you an admin and you can allow
Mm-hmm.
people to join and you can answer questions as well. But more importantly, kind of like you said, not just for the church going people, just when I call it minority investors, I don't mean just strictly minorities or African Americans or Black people. I mean anybody who's not part of the 1% of the wealthy.
Yeah.
I want us all to come up. So especially those in the church, yeah, come join us. I actually have a church background. My parents were
Mm-hmm.
Jehovah's Witnesses, and so I went to church every 3 times a week. So it's a
Yeah.
different religion, but yeah, same thing. They had the same mentality. They
Mm-hmm.
never worried about money until rent was due, and then it's like, yeah, you can pray to God, and God provides many ways, but if you're not following some of the signs, then yeah,
Mm-hmm.
what else can He do for you? So
So yeah, that's really true. Sometimes I believe every day, as a friend said, every day God is talking to somebody about a particular solution to a problem, you know, and for many people also on this channel, of many people who will be coming across this channel, I believe what we are doing right now is a voice to somebody's problem, somebody's problem. And for all you know, we are even doing it for free. So that alone should let you know that it is God giving you a solution to something that He's not even charging you for it. Yeah. So uh, I'm also learning. I'm totally new to this. I'm learning. It's just the hunger for knowledge that I think sometimes helps me. You know, I guess I want to know more. Yeah.
now you
So.
always say you learning, and I'm still learning as well. But I'm gonna tell you one thing that you probably need to start to think about. When you
Mhm.
showed me your portfolio today, you were up a certain percentage.
Yeah.
Go look at the S&P and see the percentage that is up for the year. I think it's down maybe by like 0.3% or something like that.
Okay.
And so that's why we look at that as a benchmark. So the
Mm.
S&P is down 1% as a whole, and you're up, let's say 2%, brother, you're doing good.
that means I'm on course, right?
Yeah, that means you're doing better because they that's why they use those benchmarks. If they say if you cannot beat
Mm.
the any of those index funds, then you need to stop picking individual stocks because
But
as you and I both know, and you can see it right here on the screen that investing in S&P historically has a 9.8% return annually, right?
I thought we said
So
we are going to go into this next week.
yeah, we are gonna go, but I'm just telling you because you keep saying like, hey man, I'm just learning. Like you're doing better than S&P, so brother, your strategy is a solid.
Thank you.
A solid.
Thank
So when you
you.
tell, I'm just when you talk to other people, you probably can talk with more confidence because you're beating the S&P 500 returns. So just know that.
Yeah. Trust me. And I didn't even know about all this beating S&P 500 and all this stuff. I remember you also posted something about that, explaining that. So maybe next week I would try and do. I read a little write up that I think you posted one of the times that I copied on your page about what the S&P is, what the Dow is. Maybe I'll go into that, and later that I know about it, then maybe we can also jump into explaining it further for people. Yes.
All
Yeah.
right, cool.
Yeah. Okay.
In that case, we're gonna sign out. I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to hold on. Let me make sure I'm doing this right. So stop sharing. It should have went away. I'm going to stop our recording. Making sure all this working right. Yep. The recording has stopped. Cool. It's already